the ingenious water system that made ancient cities thrive. Most people think ancient cities collapsed because they ran out of food or got invaded. But water decided their fate long before swords ever did. Some of the most powerful civilizations on Earth did not survive because they had the biggest armies. They survived because they mastered something so ordinary we barely notice it today. Water, moving quietly underground, flowing where it was needed, controlled without electricity, pumps, or modern math. Imagine waking up thousands of years ago, turning a stone valve, and having clean water arrive like magic. That is not a myth, that is engineering. Today, we are diving into the ingenious water systems that made ancient cities thrive, systems so smart that modern engineers still study them. And once you see how they worked, your idea of ancient technology will never be the same. Mohenjo-Daro. Mohenjo-Daro feels unreal when you first understand it, because this city was managing water better 4,000 years ago than many places do today. Every house was connected to a drainage system, streets were sloped with intention, and water flowed out of the city instead of turning it into a swamp. This was not accidental design, this was urban planning with purpose, and it suggests a society that understood hygiene, efficiency, and long-term survival. What makes it even more impressive is that there is no evidence of kings ordering it, which hints that water management was a shared priority, not a luxury. The challenge here was seasonal flooding, and instead of fighting nature, the city worked with it. Ancient Rome. Rome did not just build aqueducts, it built confidence in water. Imagine water traveling miles across valleys, balanced only by gravity, arriving fresh enough to drink, bathe in, and power fountains that were pure flex. The aqueducts were symbols of control over nature, but also practical lifelines that kept 1 million people alive in one city. Yes, maintaining them was a challenge. Leaks happened, politics interfered, but the system was so well designed that parts of it still stand today. Romans understood that water access meant public health, social stability, and power. When people say Rome was advanced, this is what they mean. Not marble statues, but invisible systems doing the real work. Angkor was not just a city, it was a water machine disguised as a kingdom. Massive reservoirs, canals stretching for miles, and precise control of monsoon. Rains turned a jungle into one of the largest urban centers in history. The genius was not storing water, it was timing it, releasing it slowly when rains disappeared and crops needed it most. The system faced stress when climate patterns shifted, but for centuries it worked almost flawlessly. What is fascinating is that Angkor shows how water systems can shape political power, because whoever controlled the flow controlled survival. Standing among the ruins today, you realize the stone temples were just the decoration. Water was the real foundation. Petra looks like a desert fantasy, which makes its water system even more shocking. This city collected flash flood water from rare storms and stored it safely instead of letting it destroy everything. Channels carved into rock, hidden pipes, and sealed cisterns turned chaos into control. The biggest challenge was unpredictability. Too much water at once and then nothing for months. Petra solved this with precision and patience, not brute force. It is one of the clearest examples that intelligence beats abundance, and it proves that survival is about management, not location. Once you understand this, Petra stops looking mysterious and starts looking brilliant. Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan planned water before it planned monuments, and that tells you everything about its priorities. The city redirected rivers, controlled flooding, and ensured agriculture could support a massive population. Water was not decorative here, it was strategic, supporting trade, ritual, and daily life. The challenge came from scale, keeping everything balanced as the city grew larger than anyone expected. What stands out is how water management shaped social order, influencing where people lived and how neighborhoods formed. It is a reminder that infrastructure quietly decides how societies function long before culture takes credit. Persepolis. Persepolis relied on qanats, underground channels that transported water across long distances without evaporation. This system allowed cities to flourish in dry regions where surface water would vanish. The engineering challenge was precision, because a slight miscalculation could collapse the entire tunnel. These systems required patience, planning, and generational thinking, because they were built to last centuries. Persepolis shows that innovation does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it hides beneath your feet. When you realize people were thinking this far ahead, thousands of years, it changes how you view progress. Tikal. Tikal faced a problem that sounds simple but was deadly: no rivers nearby. The solution was harvesting rainwater on a massive scale, storing it in reservoirs lined with materials that kept it clean. This allowed the city to survive dry seasons and support a large population in the jungle. The system required constant maintenance and understanding of the environment, but it worked for generations. What makes Tikal fascinating is that it proves even extreme limitations can be overcome with creativity. Water scarcity did not stop the city, it shaped it. Athens combined practicality with philosophy, even in water. Wells, aqueducts, and fountains were integrated into public spaces, making water access part of daily civic life. The challenge was protecting supply during conflict and drought, which pushed Athenians to diversify sources. Water became a shared responsibility, not just a resource. This approach reinforced community and stability in subtle ways. When people talk about democracy shaping Athens, they forget water systems played a role in keeping that society functioning. Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza depended on cenotes, natural sinkholes that provided water in a region with no rivers. The Maya adapted by building their city around these sources, integrating nature into urban design. The challenge was variability, some years wetter, some dangerously dry. Instead of forcing control, they respected the system and adapted rituals, agriculture, and settlement patterns accordingly. It is a powerful lesson in adaptation rather than domination. Water here was not conquered, it was partnered with. Constantinople. Constantinople built one of the most complex water systems in the ancient world, with aqueducts, cisterns, and underground reservoirs capable of sustaining the city during long sieges. The engineering challenge was storage and distribution at scale, and the solution was layered redundancy. If one system failed, another compensated. This level of planning shows an understanding of risk that feels very modern. Water security here was survival strategy, not convenience. It is hard not to respect that level of foresight. Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is often shown as a postcard city floating in the clouds, but what kept it alive was not the view. It was water discipline. Springs were captured high in the mountains and guided through stone channels that delivered clean water to fountains throughout the city, one after another, without pressure systems or pumps. Rain was treated with equal intelligence, diverted through terraces and drains so the entire site stayed stable instead of eroding away. If this video changed how you see ancient cities, hit like so more people can discover these stories. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into hidden systems that quietly shaped history. Share this with someone who thinks ancient people were primitive, because water proves they were anything but. And let me know in the comments which ancient system impressed you the most, because these conversations are how this channel grows and stays real.